Shooey-doo-wop and Scooby snacks. I met a fly girl and I can't relax. Only problem is she's a movie star. Oh, my friends, they won't believe me if they could only see me. At the risk of sounding cheesy, I think I fell for the girl on TV. I am so sorry, guys. Dan it, doo-doo loves movies. Dan it, doo-doo loves movies. What's up, dudes and dudettes? My name's Cody, and I'm just a dude who loves movies. And today, I'm answering the Rad Pack's community challenge of the Rad 9 movie crushes. So I'm going to take you back to the 90s. And I know this community challenge has been going on for about a month and a half, and I'm a little late to the party. So guys, welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. So all 9 picks are going to be from movies, nobody from a TV show. I'll leave room for some more people that maybe I haven't talked about often. There won't be any singers on here or entertainers like that. So people like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, or Willa Ford, they will not be on the list. My list would have been totally different. I could have done a whole list for TV shows. I could have done a whole list with just music and entertainers like that. I wanna be there. All right, now let's get into the Rad 9 movie crushes. Remember, this is in no particular order. So let's rock this joint. With that said, number 9 is going to be Cameron Diaz from The Mask. I remember seeing The Mask in theaters, so I was really young. And I remember the first time seeing Cameron Diaz, she walks into the bank after it raining, and she's like wiping herself down with the Kleenex, and I was just like, Milo, get the keys. We're going to the Coco Bongo Club. Smoking! Fun fact, Cameron Diaz was not the first choice for the role. The studio actually really wanted Anna Nicole Smith, but Anna Nicole Smith turned down the role to star in the 3rd installment of the Naked Gun franchise. I think it worked out perfectly with Cameron Diaz, and that jump-started her career, and now we got a bunch of Cameron Diaz movies. And since we are on the topic of Jim Carrey had another movie come out that year, and I had a really big crush on his co-star in that movie, and that was from Dumb and Dumber. So my number 8 pick is going to be Jeff Daniels. I'm just kidding. It was Lauren Holly from Dumb and Dumber. Mary Swanson, Samsonite. I was way off. It's funny because she actually got married to Jim Carrey in real life from 1996 to 1997. But during that whole time, I started seeing her in other movies. But you know when you see an actress, you think for the first time, you notice somebody for the first time, and then all of a sudden you see them everywhere? Well, she was like also in a show that I remember my mom watching, was called like Picket Fences, and she was in a movie called Turbulence that I really liked. And she was also in Down Periscope that I remember renting when I was a kid. So I kept seeing her in all these different things. She's also in like the Bruce Lee story. She plays Bruce Lee's wife. Attention Kmart shoppers, we have a blue light special on the dude's 7th and next pick. It has to be Kathy Ireland from Loaded Weapon, Part 1. Kathy Ireland was a huge supermodel in the early 90s. I remember seeing her all over Kmart. Like, her ads were everywhere. She had, like, I think a clothing brand out. She was everywhere. She was in the commercials. She was just everywhere in pop culture back then. And she was in a movie called Loaded Weapon 1. And I think Loaded Weapon 1 is highly, criminally underrated. I think it's one of the best spoof movies ever.
You may be right. I think we're being followed now. Don't look. Just real cool. I'm going to try and lose him.
Nice driving. That movie cracks me up, has a great cast. But yeah, Kathy Ireland was this girl I had a huge crush on in the early 90s. Like, when I was a young kid, I was never one of those kids who was like, ew, cooties, keep her away. I was more like, she's a cutie. Come my way. She was also in a number of other movies. I remember seeing them on HBO and the movie channels, but nothing really sticks out or comes to mind. I remember she had like infomercials and workout tapes, so she was around and she was in the spotlight in pop culture. I don't really know what she's doing nowadays. I haven't really seen or heard much from her in recent years. Boom, 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 boom. This is my number 6, the ice cold Michelle Pfeiffer, the white gold. Number 6, Michelle Pfeiffer, Batman Returns. I am a huge Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman fan, and in Batman Returns, Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman, and I don't think I'm alone when I say this, that I had a crush on Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I'm pretty sure there were other people who did as well. But do not count her out in Dangerous Minds. I really really enjoyed her in Dangerous Minds. Maybe because I was younger when I saw Batman, and then once Dangerous Minds came out, I was all about Michelle Pfeiffer. Or maybe it was the no-nonsense, leather jacket, never give up on your student kind of thing. Or the Coolio soundtrack playing. Also, she was in the Coolio music video, which I saw all the time.
You be Michelle Pfeiffer from Dangerous Minds, and I'll be Coolio. Coolio's not in that movie. He is in song and spirit.
Michelle Pfeiffer had a movie called Up Close and Personal that came out, and there was a music video for Celine Dion's Because You Love Me, and they showed clips of the movie in it. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see.
Because you loved me.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, how does this guy not have a record deal right now? And it's by my own choice. Since we are on the topic of Michael Keaton, Tim Burton's Batman, let's keep the good times rolling and roll on into my number 5 pick. And my number 5 pick is going to be Kim Basinger from Batman 89. Now, Kim Basinger is probably one of my very first crushes. I remember watching Batman when I was very young and really loving it. And I remember seeing Batman, this hero, and then the Joker, this villain. They're fighting over Vicky Vale. And there's something very appealing to that. Fun fact, Kim Basinger is the first and only Playboy Playmate to win an Oscar. She won an Oscar for her role in L.A. Confidential, directed by Curtis Hanson, who is also the director of my favorite thriller, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. The more you know. My number 4 is going to be no surprise to anybody who watches my channel. My number 4 is Shauna Waldron from Little Giants. Becky the Icebox O'Shea is her name, and playing Pee-wee football is her game. Now, I am a huge fan of Little Giants, and I had a huge crush on Icebox in this movie. But I have talked about this many times on my channel before, so I'm going to take this off my list. I have 2 other videos where I talk about her, so I want to make room for somebody that I haven't talked about before on my channel, and somebody who is near and dear to my childhood, and somebody who's no longer with us. So my new number 4, Kirstie Alley. Look Who's Talking, and It Takes Two. I honestly couldn't tell you a Kirstie Alley movie that I didn't enjoy. I think I've liked everything I've seen her in, and my favorite of hers being the Look Who's Talking movies. I like all 3 of them. I love her chemistry with John Travolta in that movie. I love the stories. I watched those movies all the time as a kid. Also, another movie I really liked her in was It Takes Two with the Olsen twins. The Olsen twins are also somebody I had a huge crush on when I was a kid, but we'll keep them off this list. So I really liked It Takes Two and Look Who's Talking movies, and I watch those all the time. So maybe when you watch something that's so familiar, you start to build a crush for them. Look Who's Talking Now is a low-key Christmas classic. I used to watch that every year on Christmas Eve. I haven't watched it probably the last 10 years, and it's something I do want to start that tradition again because I really do enjoy that movie and I love it as a Christmas movie. And I wish she was still with us. Rest in peace, Kirstie Alley. I would like to apologize. It is pronounced Kirstie Alley and not Kirstie Alley. Sorry. Number 3, Lea Thompson, The Beverly Hillbillies, the movie. Now, Lea Thompson, a lot of people had a crush on her from either Howard the Duck or Back to the Future. Me, I had a huge crush on her from playing the villain in Beverly Hillbillies, the movie. I think it was like 1993. But yeah, I really like that movie. It's a hilarious movie. Those movies that were based off of TV shows back in the day, like Beverly Hillbillies and the Brady Bunch movies, like when they were like the fish out of water story. It's like them from the TV show in the 90s kind of world. It is absolutely hysterical, and I highly recommend you guys seeing the Beverly Hillbillies movie if you have not seen it. It also has the legendary Jim Varney. I also brought you the Hickory Nut Crunch.
The Hickory Nut Crunch.
But yeah, I remember there was a scene where she was like in like the pool on a raft, and then she was in another movie that I really thought she was pretty in, and she played the mom in Dennis the Menace. I really had a thing for her in Dennis the Menace. I don't know. But I really like both those movies. I watch those movies all the time. Dennis the Menace is another low-key banger, directed by Nick Castle, who is also Michael Myers in the first Halloween. Another more you know. Alright guys, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, the end of my list. My number 2, because she's the shit. She's all that and a bag of chips. She's creepy and she's kooky, mysterious and spooky. My number 2 pick is Christina Ricci in Addams Family and hell, everything she's been in. So Christina Ricci is somebody who I've had a crush on my entire life, and her crush has never faded. Like, when I see her, my heart flutters. Like, it's like a little butterfly. But I really think, or maybe that's the energy drinks I'm drinking. Either way, Christina Ricci is phenomenal in everything she's in. She never phones in a performance, even when she was a kid in like The Hard Way and Mermaids, to movies like Monster and Sleepy Hollow, to, you know, things like Yellow Jackets. So her as Wednesday Addams was my absolute favorite. I am a Family Values person. I like the sequel better than the first one, but I do like both of them. I also really like her in Casper. I'm a huge Casper fan. Can I keep you? Mark my words, Christina Ricci will win an Oscar someday. She is a future Oscar winner. She is destined for it. I guarantee it. So guys, can you guess who my number 1 is going to be? Do you think it's Jessica Rabbit? I did have a big crush on Jessica Rabbit when I was younger. Oh, it'd be 28 again. Before I reveal my number 1, I do want to promote the Rad Dudes for a second. That consists of Garrett from Born to Be Rad and myself. It's a show where we get together and we talk about nostalgic things, and we unlock all these memories. Hopefully we can do the same for you guys. We have plenty of cool episodes. They'll be linked down in the description. But also what's cool is we have shirts. We have Rad Dudes versus everybody, Rad Chicks. We do have a show coming up on April 20th about Snick. So we're going to go through the whole history and our memories of Snick. Saturday night, Nickelodeon. Links and everything for Rad Dudes content is going to be down in the description. So who could my number 1 be? I was a huge Scream and post-Scream horror fan. I had a huge crush on Neve Campbell, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Courtney Cox. All of them could have made this list. I wanted to choose one from that kind of era, and I'm going to reveal it right now. It's going to be my number 1 pick is Drew Barrymore from Scream and everything she's ever been in. My boyfriend's going to be home any minute now. He's big, he plays football, and he'll kick the shit out of you. I like to think she's talking about me. Even my coaster is Drew Barrymore. Scream is a VHS that I wore out. I watched it over and over again. As soon as it was over, I'd rewind it and press play again. Even before I had it, we had, like the pay-per-view channels. You know how some people would watch scrambled porn? Well, I would watch scrambled Scream. I've liked Drew Barrymore before that. I liked her when she was in E.T. when I was a little kid. I liked her in, Poison Ivy. Other things like that. Mad Love with Chris O'Donnell. Shout out Chris O'Donnell. Drew Barrymore seems like a very genuine person. I don't know if it's just she's been through rough times to where now she's just has a different outlook on life. But I really love her show, The Drew Barrymore Show. When she interviews people, you could tell it's like interviewing a friend. Or not even interviewing a friend, it's like talking to a friend. So when it's her and Keanu Reeves, which I highly recommend watching that interview, you can tell that she gets him and he gets her. It's not like a Tonight Show where there's like scripted questions and this and that. But oddly enough, I really like her in everything she's done, and even her newer stuff. I love all of her Adam Sandler stuff, especially one. And this is the movie that turned my crush from like a little schoolboy crush to like, wow, like I really, really like her all around. And that is going to be The Wedding Singer, Julia Gulia. I fell in love with her as Julia Gulia in that movie, and I was like, oh, man, this is the girl that I would love to end up with. I would love to grow old with her. I'd even let her hold the remote control. That's my Rad 9 movie crushes. I would like to thank you guys all for sticking around and dealing with my shenanigans. I'd like to thank the Rad Pack for opening this challenge. I'm sorry it's so late. If you guys want to participate, you can go ahead and do so. Just make sure you tag the Rad Pack. That's Justin, Mel, and Garrett. Make sure you tag them all. You can do it on Instagram or any kind of thing. Make a video This was very fun, and I do want to open up a challenge to a few people. Oh, there you are, Derek from Pure Hangout. Yep, I'm inviting you to the after party, buddy. I would like to see your Rad 9 crushes. I would also like to challenge / invite to the after party that horror couple, which is Kaylee and Mr. Liquid Death himself, Rob. So guys, I'd love to hear your guys' Rad 9s. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. That's Dude Loves Movies, one word. Are any of these crushes on your list? Thank you for watching. Cheers, who's respecting. Have a good night. It is 4 a.m. and I'm singing Celine Dion. What a crazy life I lead. Smoking!